Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. Many monks staying in the hotel began to fall asleep unknowingly. Some were lying on the table with saliva flowing from the corners of their mouths. Some remained in a meditating posture, but their spirits had fallen into sleep. At this time, they were all having sweet dreams, realizing their long-awaited wishes in their dreams. On the broken battlefield, the monks from all over the Junlin realm were desperate. They watched the alien army bloodbath in all directions. The scene was extremely miserable, like the end of the world. Heaven is going to destroy me, Junlin. A white-haired old man shouted sadly. The alien army was raging like locusts, massacring cities and exterminating tribes wherever it went, leaving mountains of corpses and seas of blood everywhere. At this moment, a shocking sword light came like a divine punishment and struck the alien army with a devastating impact. Countless aliens screamed miserably, and their souls were extinguished. Which strong man took action? The alien general showed fear on his face. "It's me!" A loud and majestic voice echoed in the sky. Above the sky stood a stalwart figure with wavy hair. When his eyes opened and closed, a cold light shot out from the sky. He was holding a 40-meter-long sword, and his posture was extremely domineering. "It's him! It's him! The sword god Li Wujie!" Countless men and women cried with joy as the savior of the Junlin world appeared. "The god of swords? You are the god of swords!" Known as the strongest swordsman in the Junlin world, the first person in the art of swords throughout the ages? The alien general looked horrified, almost shouting out of fear. Snort! Li Wujie's eyes were like lightning, and his tone was unquestionable. "Anyone who offends our Junlin will be punished." After saying that, he swung the 40-meter-long sword and slashed hard. The entire world was cut off, the universe and galaxies were dimmed, and even the avenues were obliterated. "Ah!" The group of alien creatures wailed, and were annihilated by this earth-shattering sword light and turned into nothingness. "Sword god Li Wujie! You are our great hero!" Boiling cheers rang out from everywhere in the Junlin world. Everyone knelt down to worship and shed tears of gratitude. "Junlin realm, I will protect it." Li Wujie looked serious, raised the 40-meter-long sword high, and made the strongest voice in the world. In another illusion. On the high throne, a slender figure sat on it. Wherever his leering gaze reached him, all the powerful men in the world surrendered and knelt down obediently like slaves, not daring to say a word. Hong Qianya raised his chin slightly, and an evil smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Now that all his former enemies have been killed, no one in this world can be his opponent. I hereby declare that the era of the rule of the fire worship demon cult has arrived. The cold voice echoed throughout the Junlin world, as if the gods were transmitting messages, lasting for a long time. The leader's power is boundless. Hundreds of millions of believers shouted with fanaticism, their voices shaking the heavens and the earth. Hong Qianya sat on the supreme throne, raised his head and let out a loud laugh of satisfied ambition. This is a world full of innocence and fantasy. What flows down the mountain stream is not water, but sweet and delicious cream. Each blooming flower represents candy of various flavors. The soil is made of chocolate, and the inside of the rock is actually cake. Roasted chickens are flying, cooked cows are running, and even birds and beasts are ready-made food. As long as you wave your hand, it will come over and be served to you. Many colorful elves, holding hands and laughing happily, there is no fighting, no intrigue, no bloodshed, and everywhere is full of peace and peace. Bai Xiaoxi is enjoying the delicious food happily, wandering between the mountains and fields. As long as she gets tired of eating, she will change it, and she can find new and strange food every time. Shua, Bai Xiaoxi took off from the ground and landed on the soft clouds. The clouds are made of cotton candy, and it is soft and comfortable to lie on them. "It's so nice here." Bai Xiaoxi smiled sweetly, and fell asleep in a dream after eating and drinking enough. The whole inn was filled with snoring, and everyone was immersed in their own dreams. However, there was only one person who was an exception. At this time, Yi Junlin looked at the bright moon outside the window, and felt a little depressed when he remembered that he had been blamed for no reason. I thought that with his appearance and strength, he had already made a great reputation and would have a large number of fans in Wuzhou. Unexpectedly, they were all black fans. All this was caused by traitors, who cheated and deceived under his banner, and discredited his perfect image of being wise, powerful, tall, invincible and righteous. Yi Junlin sighed and said, "Alas, the world is really going downhill, and people's hearts are not as good as they used to be. Ding, it is detected that the host has not signed in for 2 months. Do you want to complete the sign-in?" The system prompt sounded. "Sign." Yi Junlin said. "Ding, congratulations to the host for winning 1 million top-grade spirit crystals. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning 5 top-grade flame explosion talismans. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning 10 bags of top-grade pet animal feed. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning the first-place flute in the universe, the Immortality Flute. All the rewards obtained by signing in have been automatically stored in the system space." Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows. "Immortality Flute? Tongzi, what grade is this thing?" "Ding, there is no grade, the power of the flute depends entirely on the host's flute-playing skills and his own cultivation." The system replied thoughtfully. Yi Junlin suddenly remembered that his flute-playing skills seemed to be at the top level. Feeling the long night and thinking of the turmoil encountered today, Yi Junlin wanted to play a song for no reason to relieve his inner depression. Swish. The light flashed in his hand, and a green flute appeared, with a green glow flowing all over the body, exuding a mysterious and ancient atmosphere. "This is the Immortality Flute." Yi Junlin held the flute with both hands and put it to his mouth to play. In an instant, the sound of the flute was crisp and melodious, echoing with an ethereal meaning. Yi Junlin did not use his cultivation, but simply played the flute by feeling. Even so, he released circles of magical ripples, forming a kind of resonance between heaven and earth. Whoosh, whoosh, the room was filled with wind. Yi Junlin's silver-white long hair fluttered, his eyes were bright and blazing, and his whole body was ethereal, as if he was a banished immortal playing the flute above the 9 heavens. What sound? The faces of more than a dozen evil snake creatures changed, fearing that someone would interrupt their formation. Strangely, they did not receive any harm, as if this was just a simple melody, particularly gentle and beautiful. "What a wonderful music, it reminds me of my life in the tribe when I was a child." One of the tribesmen was intoxicated, hissing and sticking out his tongue, and his body couldn't help twisting, dancing gracefully to the rhythm. "Tulu, what are you doing?" Yelugu noticed something was wrong and shouted. As a result, the tribe member ignored him and danced to the sound of the flute. Perhaps it was because of the characteristics of snakes that their bodies were extremely flexible. This was not over yet. One after another, the creatures of the evil snake tribe gave up maintaining the dream formation and immersed themselves in their own world. They danced so hard that they either twisted their waists or shook their hips. The scene was very eye-catching. You guys." Yelugu was shocked, his eyes widened. He had never seen such a bizarre scene in his life. Soon, Yelugu realized that everything was caused by this beautiful flute. The flute can stimulate the characteristics of snakes and make its tribe members dance to the sound of the flute. Who is doing this? Get out of here, priest. Yelugu's face was fierce, and his sharp fangs flashed coldly. Suddenly, its pupils gradually lost focus, and its hands clasped together to make a flower on its head, imagining itself as a sunflower, its body swaying in the wind, and a mysterious smile on the corners of its mouth. As they were all dancing, the dream formation stopped working. Inside the Long Men Inn, Fan Dizhong suddenly woke up and felt a sense of fear. I just fell into a trap. Fan Dizhong knew very well that a practitioner of his level would not fall into a dream for no reason. There must be a mastermind behind the scenes. Not good. Fan Dizhong thought of something, disappeared from the spot, and directly broke into the other side of the room. In front of him, and Miaoi was sitting cross-legged in meditation, with a calm and peaceful face, eyes closed, no sign of waking up, and a faint smile at the corner of her mouth. Obviously, this is a beautiful dream. Miss, wake up quickly. Fan Dizheng made a secret with one hand and shot out a stream of light that fell into the eyebrows of the woman in yellow. And Miaoi's delicate body trembled, her long eyelashes trembled, and her beautiful eyes opened with a look of confusion. Uncle Fan, why are you? We have fallen into a trap. Fan Dizheng said solemnly. Fell into a trap? And Miaoi wrinkled her nose, as if thinking of something, and said with palpitations, no wonder I feel like I don't want to wake up, and the deeper I get into it, the more exhausted I become. If I guessed correctly, the enemy has set up a dream formation. This is one of the ancient and evil formations in rumors. It can make people fall into a deep sleep without anyone noticing until they wake up quietly in their sleep. Die. Fan Dizheng said with a gloomy expression. Even a strong person like him, who is a perfect Mahayana, is trapped in it and unable to extricate himself. If it really drags on, his life will really be decided here. There were no traces of a fight, he just died silently. Thinking of this, Fan Dizheng felt a chill down his back and secretly felt lucky. And Miaoi couldn't believe it, they are so vicious, what is their purpose for doing this? Is it to kill people and steal wealth? Miss, don't run around. I'll go outside to check on the situation. Fan Dizheng said in a deep voice. Whoosh. The figure disappeared in an instant. In an instant, they were above the inn. Fan Dizheng's pupils shrank, abyssal creatures. At the same time, Yelugu and the others were no longer dancing, because the sound of the flute was suddenly interrupted, allowing them to regain consciousness, and their expressions were all surprised and uncertain. Master Priest, Some tribesmen had numb scalps and were very worried about the strange phenomenon just now. Can this plan continue? Yelugu's eyes were full of murderous intent, and he said in a cold voice, although I was interrupted just now, most human monks will choose to continue sleeping because of the beauty of their dreams. As long as they are repaired in time, they still have a chance. Stop. An angry shout sounded. Fan Dizheng flashed over, his eyes were like lightning, and he said angrily, the evil beast in the abyss actually dares to take action against us humans. Yelugu's eyes showed fear, and he said coldly, so what? Our Mingyuan army is bound to sweep across the eastern region. Isn't it too much to kill you monks in advance? You are so brave. This is the territory of my human race. Fan Dizheng waved his hand, and held the 3-foot green sword in his hand. The sword shined like stars, exuding a sacred aura. Human Mahayana monks, don't think that this priest is afraid of you. Even though he was 2 small steps behind, Yelugu was still confident and confident. Humph, who do you think I am? It turns out to be a monster from the abyss. Not far away, Li Wujia's eyes were as sharp as an eagle, and he appeared menacingly with a long knife. Immediately afterwards, there was a cold voice filled with murderous intent, how dare you, dirty and lowly creatures like you, plot against me? Huh. Hong Qianya appeared in a flash with his hands behind his back. I saw this demon sect leader, with a flawless and beautiful face, full of strong murderous intent, and phoenix eyes burning with golden divine flames, as if he wanted to burn all things, and his aura was unmatched. 2 more Mahayana monks are here? At this time, cold sweat broke out on Yelugu's and the others' foreheads. 2 fellow Taoists. Fan Dizheng's eyelids twitched. Whether it was the middle-aged man holding a knife or the woman in red, he felt completely oppressed. Most importantly, what's going on with this inexplicable feeling of familiarity? Fan Dizheng felt that these 2 people seemed to have met somewhere before. Hong Qianya and Li Wujia apparently took advantage of the pause in the formation to realize that they had fallen into a trap, and then reluctantly left the dreamland. After regaining consciousness, they felt very annoyed. On the one hand, they hated the other party for using such methods, and on the other hand, they felt like their dream had been shattered and they had returned to the cruel reality. So, let's just put the blame on Yelugu and the others. Master Priest. The subordinates were frightened and trembling. After all, the opponent had 3 Mahayana masters. Yelugu was panicked at first, but then regained his composure and said in a deep voice, "Pour all your strength into me, quickly." Yes. The men immediately followed suit, and surging power poured into Yelugu. Boom, Yelugu's eyes were about to burst, and strong evil energy was released from his whole body. He held the staff in both hands and raised it above his head. The emerald on the top of the staff was vibrating violently, and then it crackled and was covered with turtle marks. A huge green light group was released, shrouded in Yelugu and the others. Yelugu's heart felt like it was bleeding, because he knew that his most valued weapon was useless, but fortunately, it was worth it to get the chance to escape. No, they are trying to escape. Fan Dizheng's expression changed, and he swung his sword to stab them with all his strength. Don't even think about it. Hong Qianye and Li Wujie were about to intercept. It's useless. This staff of mine was a sacred object given to me by the clan leader back then. Even if it were to cross the tribulation realm, it would be difficult to keep me. Let alone you. Yelugu said proudly. The green light group was blazing and bright, and was about to disappear into the void without a trace. At the critical moment, the sound of the flute came again, but this time it was rhythmic and contained some irresistible Taoist meaning. Hong Qianye and the others stopped unconsciously, with expressions of surprise on their faces. No. Yelugu realized something, and his proud smile disappeared and turned into grief and anger. The sound of this flute makes me feel like dancing. Li Wujie touched his nose, feeling ready to move. Hong Qianye frowned, instinctively thinking that it was that guy who did it. Then he looked forward. He seemed to have seen something shocking, and the corners of his eyes were twitching. "Here, what are you doing?" At this time, the dim green light group was annihilated, revealing a dozen enchanting figures. These creatures with snake heads and human bodies were either shaking their butts or twisting their waists, and their forked tongues were hissing in their mouths, as if they were immersed in a carnival party. And Yelugu was even more outrageous. It was seen holding a staff and sticking it straight into the ground, and then it danced boldly and fierily, sometimes spinning around, sometimes making difficult movements, as if it was not holding a staff, but a steel pipe. Fuck. Are you provoking us? Li Wujie showed a disgusted expression, and the knife in his hand tightened. Red Chiba's scalp was numb and goosebumps appeared all over his body. Seeing the dance of these dozen snakes, he felt that he needed to rinse his eyes with water quickly. It's because of the sound of the flute. Fan Dizheng was stunned at first, but then he realized what was happening and his heart was shocked. The rhythm of this flute sound is brisk, which seems to resonate with the avenue, and also contains the meaning of returning to nature. Listening to it, one can't help but fall deeply into it. The most frightening thing is that there is no cultivation blessing, just using musical notes to communicate with all things in the dark. Let me ask, what level of skill has the person who can do this reached? I am afraid that he has become the only one in the world and is regarded as the leader of the musicians in the eastern region. Fan Dizheng knew that without this senior, the monks at Longmen Inn would be in danger. Sure enough, this inn is full of hidden dragons and crouching tigers. Fan Dizheng said with emotion. In the wing room. And Miaoi's beautiful eyes lit up, she listened attentively, and said in surprise, "Who is playing the flute?" The sound of the flute is ups and downs, very brisk. The more Miaoi listened, the happier she became. She felt that someone who could play such a tune must be a very interesting person. And outside, Yelugu's dance continues. It's so spicy. The hearts of Hong Qianye and the other two were pounding. Crap, crap, crap. I can't stand it. I'm going to kill them now. Li Wujie rushed forward with a knife in a panic. You disgusting beasts, all of you, die. Hong Qianye hated it so much that he gathered his strength and slapped them hard. Poor Yelugu was first chopped to death by a random knife and then slapped into ashes by a palm. The rest of his men followed in his footsteps. Fan Dizheng was stunned. Is he so fierce? He hasn't started yet. On the other side, Junlin was playing the flute. The reason why he stopped halfway was because he wanted to change his style and try to change his mood. It felt good. Playing the flute when he had nothing to do could cultivate his sentiments and please his body and mind. As for the turmoil in the outside world, Junlin naturally knew about it, but he was too lazy to care about it. Anyway, there were 2 apprentices to deal with it. After a while. After Junlin finished playing the flute, he seemed to have some feelings. He walked over and opened the door. In front of him stood a graceful, fair-skinned, charming and lovely woman in yellow. Originally, and Miaoi was still immersed in the sound of the flute. Seeing the door suddenly open, she was frightened and took a few steps back. Her hands were nervously intertwined. Her watery eyes were as clear as a spring, reflecting the handsome young man with long silver-white hair hanging down to his waist. That ethereal temperament was like a banished immortal descending from the top of the cloud. And Miaoi's heartbeat suddenly accelerated. She didn't expect that this musician was actually a heavenly figure. She was originally eloquent. When she saw Junlin, her face flushed slightly, and she stammered, "Senior, I'm sorry to bother you. I actually want to." Junlin's eyes lit up, and he immediately pulled her in and slammed the door. The 2 looked at each other. Junlin urged excitedly, "Hurry up, give me your pussy."
Ah.
And Miaoi suspected that she had heard it wrong, and her mind went blank for a moment.